if you will, there's no charge, but we're asking if you come to consider bringing 2 cans of perishable food to give away for holiday that we give away to people that's in need. So just for asking for 2 cans. So, thank you.
Any more public recognition?
President Ryan, I think a young man on the back, if I can see past the camera there with Robin and Dr. Hare, is Mr. Shields. Hare, is that you? Please stand up. His dad is here for a different reason, but for those that may have missed it on the news, this young man is 13 years old, and among the many remarkable tornado recovery stories in the city of Tupelo, he has raised $8,000 by selling T-shirts that he donated to the different churches affected by the tornado.
Now we'll go to 4.5, proclamation and recognition of Extra Mile Day.
Thank you, President Ryan. I don't think any representatives are here from this group, but at this time, on behalf of the city of Tupelo, it's my honor and privilege to issue the following proclamation. Whereas Tupelo, Mississippi is a community which acknowledges that a special vibrancy exists within the entire community when its individual citizens collectively go the extra mile in personal effort, volunteerism, and service. And Tupelo, Mississippi is a community which encourages its citizens to maximize their personal contribution to the community by giving of themselves wholeheartedly and with total effort, commitment, and conviction to their individual ambitions, family, friends, and community. And as a community, we choose to shine a light on and celebrate individuals and organizations within the community who go the extra mile to make a difference and lift up fellow members of the community. And Tupelo, Mississippi acknowledges the mission of Extra Mile America to create 500 Extra Mile cities in America, and is proud to support Extra Mile Day on November 1st, 2014. And urge each individual in the community to take time on this day to not only go the extra mile in his or her home life, but to acknowledge all those who are inspirational in their efforts and commitment to make their organizations, families, and community and country a better place. And again, there's no individual here to accept that, but the city of Tupelo has received acknowledgement on the group's website as being an extra mile city. So we're very proud to be able to do this and participate in that program.
And Mayor's report.
Thank you, President Brian. I do have a little bit of a report. I saved time on the proclamation so that I have extra time to give a report tonight. As the members of the council are aware, each year the city of Tupelo participates in the United Way fundraiser campaign. We had a special ceremony that members of the council and different department heads attended the other day. And just again, I want to say our thanks and appreciation for United Way. Again, after the tornado of April 28th, they coordinated over 3,000 volunteers and continue to lead the effort on the long-term recovery committee. Our city team is led by Miss Ebony Haddix over at the Bancorp South Arena and Miss Sandy Shoemaker here in City Hall. And certainly thank everyone that's involved in that. And we last year raised a little bit over $30,000 in the city and hoping to do more this year. It's already been announced, but I want to remind particularly the folks at home watching, on October 28th at noon at the gymnasium at St. Luke United Methodist Church, we'll have a 6-month anniversary program from the April 28th tornado. And we just invite everyone in the public to come and participate in that. Among other to the program. There will be a special presentation by one of the Tupelo High School senior projects groups that's doing special commemorative. I don't want to say what they're doing because they're going to unveil it there, but they're doing a special project to have a lasting reminder of that April 28th tornado in the city of Tupelo. Also related to the tornado and the recovery effort, the city of Tupelo, along with Tupelo Garden Club, Mississippi State University, and Keep Tupelo Beautiful will have a conference on Saturday, October 25th at the Bank South Arena from 9 a.m. until noon for anyone affected by the tornado that needs help with replanting or re-landscaping their home in the wake of the tornado. Also on the 25th is the Susan G. Komen Foundation Race for the Cure, Walk for the Cure. That begins here at Fair Park at 8 a.m. On this Saturday, the 25th. Also on Saturday, the 25th, will be the third, not annual, we missed last year, but the third time that the ceasefire pigskin in the park will be in on Tupelo front porch. Certainly think we'll have a huge crowd this year with the success of both Mississippi State and Ole Miss in football. The Mississippi State Kentucky game will be at 2:30, followed by the Ole Miss LSU game on the Jumbotron at a little after 6 p.m. So hoping to have a big crowd for that. Celebration Village to benefit the Sanctuary Hospice House kicks off with their annual preview party tomorrow night, and will continue through Saturday to support the community. The final announcement is on October 27th here in City Hall. The City of Tupelo, the Mayor's Office, along with Mississippi Association of Educators, will have the Strengthen Our Schools, Keep the Promise to Fully Fund Public Education community event here in the council chambers that night to bring awareness and promote fully funding the Mississippi Adequate Education Program. Also want to take this opportunity, our friend on the front row, Robbie Ward, has been with us since I began campaigning, and wanted to publicly thank and show appreciation for Mr. Ward. You know, I'm learning firsthand, you sometimes have a love-hate relationship with the media, but I want to commend him for holding our feet to the fire. And assuming we pass the public policy ordinance, I'll be presenting him with a laminated copy of it. So, thank you, Rob. That concludes the report this time.
Thank you, Mayor Shelton. We will now close the regular meeting and open up item 5, public agenda. 5.1, public hearings. 5.1A, lot mowings of property. Anyone here wants to speak on lot mowing? Anyone here? We will close the public agenda and return to the regular session. Item 6, action agenda. Item 6, action agenda. 6.1, review, adopt ordinance establishing policy for regulations, locations, and permitting municipal right-of-way usage by public utilities. Note, this item has been tabled since August 5th, 2014. Do I have a motion to take it off the table?
I move that we remove it off the table. Second.
Motion by Ms. Davis, second by Mr. Bryan, to take it off the table. All in favor? Motion carries unanimous. Now, do I entertain a motion from someone to adopt this policy?
I move that we would adopt the ordinance.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Davis, second by Mr. Whittington. At this time, before I open up the floor for discussion, I'm going to turn it over to legal counsel, Mr. Logan, and let him explain this, and then we'll go from there.
President Bryan, we have two ordinances dealing with a very similar subject matter, and they need to be split. One deals with utilities in general located in the right of ways of the city. The other deals with the telecommunications providers. It allows for an additional fee to the city of 2% in addition to any franchise that you may be able to agree with that telecommunications provider. That would be 61A, would be the telecommunications service provider regulating their use of the public right of ways. 6.1B is the more general management of streets, trenching, and rights of way of the city of Tupelo. These ordinances are in the same form other than the whereas language and the ordainment language. We have not yet assigned the section numbers. There will be two new sections of the city code, and the only change from the information that has been provided to you, and I do apologize to Councilman Beard. I don't know that you were on board when these were initially in draft form, but the only substantive change to those ordinances are in the last two sections on page 9 of 61A and on page 15 of 6.1B. The first being, we have several existing joint utility projects. The main one that comes to mind is Fair Park, where all the utility providers went in together and paid money up front to be able to use a common trench and conduits and boxes there, so that a Fair Park would not be established, and then as utilities started going underground other than water and light, that someone would be out on Fair Park all the time, cutting it up and making trenches. So that would be of both of these ordinances, that would be at the discretion of the council to grant a waiver of either of these two ordinances regulating the trenching and the telecommunications folks. The other provision for waiver is if there is a specialized service that is going to be provided by a utility. And we have been talking with a company that is offering 1 gigabyte of fiber to the home, which is we talked to them for about 6 now in certain designated areas. If either a telecommunications utility or it would apply to both, but you could grant a waiver of some of these provisions in order for that type of expanded service to come in. That gives you a little flexibility that in working with that company that is offering that service. Other than that, we added a severability provision that is common in most ordinances that allows, if there's any part of it that's invalid, it will not invalidate the rest of the ordinance. So that would be two changes to that ordinance.
With Ms. Davis motion and Mr. Brown's second, would that cover both? Or do we need to do them separate? Or with their, is actually together, but A and B, would her motion include both of them and vote on it?
I'll probably do each motion separate.
Okay.
The 6.1A would be the ordinance to regulate the use of telecommunications service providers of public rights of way and property in the city of Tupelo.
Okay, Ms. Davis.
Okay, I'll go back and add, to this, motion, A, telecommunication service. It's the first part. Yeah.
Yes, okay. And Mr. Blind? Second. Second. Further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimous. And part B, which is the ordinance, regulating the management of street trenches and right-of-way of city of Tupelo.
So then.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bryan, second by Mr. Palmer. Any discussion? Mr. Jennings?
Just for clarification, Mr. Timmons, is this okay? I guess you seen this? To meet y'all's, and that's just clarification. So that last four inches and stuff, what that means?
Yes, all right. I've been working with Mr. Logan through this whole process, and I have no issues with it.
Okay.
Further discussion? All in favor of the motion? Motion carries unanimous. We'll move into item 7, routine agenda. 7.1, review approved minutes of the regular council meeting of Tuesday, August 2014.
I move to approve these minutes, Mr. President.
Motion by Mr. Palmer, second by Mr. Beard. Any discussion? All in favor?
I have a correction, just for, it was just on page, 2, the pastor was Leandre Barnes. And it was the Saving Station, church, that was, that's under that report. Leandre Barnes, Saving Station Church, where Leandre Tupelo, who was, he didn't do the application, Leandre Barnes did the application. And the church rather than a conference.
Further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimous with the corrections. Thank you. 7.2, review and pay bills.
Make a motion to pay bill. Second.
Motion by Mr. Jennings, second by Mr. Whittington. The bills were paid tonight by Mr. Whittington, Mr. Palmer, Mr. Lynn Bryan, Ms. Davis, and Mr. Jennings. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimous. 7.3, review approve appointment of Mr. Robin Hare to Quality of Life Committee.
Move to approve the appointment. Second.
Motion by Mr. Whittington, second by Mr. Mayor Shelton.
Thank you, President Bryan. Mr. Hare is on the back, along with Shields and Dr. Hare. This is a nomination made at the request of the suggestion of Ward 2 Council Member Lynn Bryan. He would serve as an at-large member of the Quality of Life Committee, which oversees the allocation of city resources for quality of life events that promote Tupelo and the things that we do here, and just would respectfully request a confirmation of his nomination at this time.
Other discussion?
President, I've known Robin Lynn here for a long time. I certainly believe he'd be an asset to that committee.
I would just like to say thank him for willing to serve.
Other discussion? Just want to say welcome right before the vote. All in favor? Motion carries unanimous. Thank you. We'll move to item 7.4, Review approved final resolution for ad valorem tax exemption for Cooper Tire and Rubber Company.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bryan, second by Mr. Whittington. This is the final resolution for the ad valorem tax. We have already approved this, and Mr. Logan, this is just, crossing the i's and, or crossing the t's and dotting the i's on the final.
Yes, President Brian, as Ms. Hannah explained last night, this is the last step in approving these tax exemptions.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimous. 7.5, review approved final resolution for ad valorem tax exemption for Leggett and Platt Components Company.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Jennings, second by Mr. Palmer. Item 7.5 falls under the same category as final resolution, as item 7.4. We have a few more after that, or after this. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimous. 7.6, review approved final resolution for ad valorem tax exemption for Jim Light Thomas Group LLC, DBA Dave Wright, Decree Omega.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Whittington, second by Mr. Jennings. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. 7.7, review approved final resolution for ad valorem tax exemption for Hawkeye Industries.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. Palmer, second by Mr. Beard. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimous. We'll move to 7.8, review approved FY 2015 budget revision number 1.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Whittington, second by Mr. Jennings. Ms. Hannah? This is your first one for,
No, I didn't mean to interrupt. Be glad to go over it, or if you can, either one, whichever you prefer.
I mean, I'm satisfied.
satisfied?
It's to show the revision, we previously accepted the 2 different grants, for the quality of life events, just for a total amount of $5,000, and this amendment would reflect that additional revenue in the budget.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimous. 7.9, review approved resolution of intention of city to issue GO bonds in principal not to exceed $10 million.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. Bryan, second by Mr. Whittington. And this is to lines up to $10 million, as we need it. The majority of this is, going to be applied to the, police headquarters.
That's correct.
Other discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimous. Item 7.10, review approved resolution approving employment of professionals in connection with issuing of gold bonds not to exceed $10 million.
I move that we approve this resolution.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Davis, second by Mr. Jennings. This item is approving, professionals, another law firm to work with our city attorney in, issuing the, bonds.
That's correct. And just in support of that, President Bryan would point out that this is basically a requirement for the issuance of the bonds. The firm selected has a long-standing relationship with the city of Tupelo, very familiar with the finances and credit rating for the city of Tupelo, and working with Mr. Logan will save the city of Tupelo probably in excess of $100,000 on this bond issue.
Further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimous. Review, we'll move to 7.11. Review approved financial report for Tupelo Electric Department, June 30th, 2013 through 2014.
I move we accept this financial report.
Second. Motion by Mr. Palmer, second by Mr. Whittington. Mayor Shelton.
And this one may be outside of my pay grade. Above my pay grade.
We'll build up to this time.
As, Frank, Gerald, and Wildman, as Greg Gerald ended yesterday. We did have a separate audit, for the electric fund only as required by TDA. The deadline for this is October 31st. It's within, the deadline, which means we're in compliance, and, we're just requesting that you accept this excellent opinion.
Any questions? All in favor? Motion carries unanimous. Thank you. Seven point one two, review approved request for out of the country travel for Mayor Shelton.
I move that we receive this request.
Okay.
Motion by Mr. Davis, second by Mr. Jennings. This is again in, about a month or two. Mayor Shelton is going out of town to Germany, so.
That one way off.
Mark will mention the updates one way, but he was like, Mayor Shelton.
Again, this is at the request of our CDF Community Development Foundation, which I understand is at the invitation of Grammar, which is a new company to the Tupelo area, which is making about $30 million investment into our region and will employ 650 additional workers at their plant in the South Lee Industrial Park. And they have invited a delegation from Tupelo to come visit their Germany, their international headquarters. And this will continue the efforts of the Community Development Foundation to really become a major player in the automotive field for the Tupelo, North Mississippi area, in addition to Toyota, Yokohama near West Point, and then this company is making basically making the seats that go into anything from Mercedes-Benz to a John Deere tractor right here in Lee County.
Thank you. Any discussion?
I think this probably will be a very worthwhile trip, if they agree to, acquire another, manufacturing company in our area that will provide more jobs and more experiences.
Further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. We'll move to 7.13, review approved agreement between software vendor and City of Tupelo Aquatic Center.
Motion we approve the agreement.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Whittington, second by Mr. Palmer.
This President Ryan is the motion software vendor agreement at Tupelo Aquatic Center. This is the to hopefully help us operate more effectively and efficiently there at the Aquatic Center.
Further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimous. 7.14, review approved listing of lot mowing.
Motion to approve this.
Second. Motion by Mr. Bryan, second by Mr. Deere. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimous. Review, ratify, we'll move to 7.15. Review, ratify contract with Civil Link design of Winfield drainage improvements. Motion by Mr. Bryan, second by Mr. Palmer. This is, contract is for $9,500 for Civil Link to design the drainage problem at Winfield subdivision. That subdivision was in my ward for the first two councils, and I heard a lot of complaints and worked with the administration for a long time. And Mr. Lynn Bryan came on board, and he heard the same complaints that I did, and he pushed for this project to kickstart. And I'm glad that hit the agenda. So, any further discussion?
Mr. Brown, I failed to ask the question yesterday, where, Shane, where would this money be coming from?
It was in the budget, it was put in the capital budget specifically for the project.
That's right. Okay. Thank you, Shane.
Further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimous. 7.16, review approve two agreements for, first one, A, drinking water system improvements, revolving loan fund for annex area water improvement project.
I move we approve the signing number 8 of the drinking water system improvements.
Second. Motion by Mr. Palmer, second by Mr. Beard. Mr. Timmons, I know this is, I know you're loving this.
Yep.
This has been your baby for a while.
This is actually just a small portion of the loans that's going to be coming forward for approval, actually up to $41 million in the newly annexed areas. These two loans, one of them is for $4,058,000, which is the water piece of it. The sewer piece is $7,218,000. These loans are for 20 years, at 1 3/4% money, so they're really good loans. I appreciate your approval on it.
Further discussion?
Yeah, I have people that this one, okay.
Probably in the annexed areas, we'll probably totally from east to west Tupelo, probably over 2,000 people, homes probably. When you're talking actual population. Rooftops, I don't know how many that is.
And that could expand if that area grows.
Oh, yes, every bit of this is designed for future capacity. So any undeveloped properties in this annexed area, these systems will help. All right.
Further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimous. Second, agreement, B, pollution control revolving loan fund for sewer collection extension in annexed area.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Palmer, second by Mr. Jennings. I believe, Mr. Timmons, covered this one as well while he was up there, and, thank you, Mr. Timmons. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimous. 7.17, review approve appeal bond filing fee for appeal of MDEQ decision granting well permits to North Lee County Water Association.
Make a motion to approve the appeal bond and the fee of $500.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Whittington, second by Mr. Bryan. Mr. Logan, is that covered, the $500 covers, what you need?
Yes, I will, and that will eliminate the need for item 9, executive session pending litigation. if that's approved.
That is approved in no executive session. All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Those hands went up quick. 7.18, review approved request for engagement letter from Greg Gerald, excuse me, Greg Gerald of Frank's Ranks and Gerald to perform operational audit of Tupelo Airport.
Make a motion we approve the request.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Whittington, second by Mr. Bryan. Any discussion? This is a operational audit, for the airport, requested by the council. And, after we find out the results, I hope we can continue to move forward with, the airport authority and the director. All in favor? Motion carries unanimous. 7.19, review, award, reject bid for wastewater treatment facility improvements, chemical efficient. Have a motion.
Second.
Motion by
I'll make
Mr.
a
Palmer.
motion, we, accept the bid.
Motion by Mr. Bryan, second by Mr. Palmer. Mr. Timmons, you want to put a lot of chemicals in this? Chlorine and,
Right, this one is very important, that we get this done, because if we don't get it done, the mayor goes to prison. We need to get this one.
Just vote it down.
This is an addition to the wastewater plant. We've been put under order by Mississippi DEQ to remove nitrogen from the sewer system, and this chemical process that will be installed will handle that. Mayor will have to do it.
I strongly request
I'm sending the motion.
Keep up with it.
Yeah.
this is Jenny.
Is, this is a one-time, how can we do this? Is this the first time?
Oh, this is a one-time thing. What it is EPA comes through every so often and puts more and more restrictions on wastewater that we dump in Town Creek and require you to remove certain chemicals. And right now it's nitrogen. Who knows what'll be next? It'll be something. We'll never get through removing chemicals.
Okay, so doing this now, you won't have to do that for, just have no ever.
Yeah, that's remove nitrogen from now on. Just expect more chemicals to come down the pipe.
The reason I asked that, are you talking about $2 million, I hear $3 million, that's all.
And add it to a $30 million wastewater plant.
Okay.
Further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. 7.20, review approved resolutions amending open record policy, electronic messaging policy, record retention policy, and amendment provision of employee handbook.
Make a motion we approve this resolution.
Second motion.
Motion by Mr.
I'd
Whittington,
like to amend the motion.
second by Ms. Davis.
Friendly amendment
Mr. Bryan.
with the effective date of 1 December. To get get everybody on board, and get their phones programs and things like that.
I have a motion and a second on the floor, and then I have a third council member to amend the motion. I need a second on the amendment. Motion by Mr. Bryan, second by Mr. Jennings to amend the motion. Mr. Logan, before we vote on the amendment, usually when you have an ordinance, it comes in effect in 30 days. Is this okay to do?
Yes, it is. It's very similar to the, you can pass one that is effective immediately. You do have to have other language in your, there's reasons why it would be effective immediately. I believe that the implementation of this policy would be a proper reason for delay of the implementation of it. That's fairly close to, it's an additional 2 weeks. If you can delay, you can't, until you post the notice, you can't start counting the days anyway, so we're gonna be within that time.
And I want to correct myself, it's not an ordinance, it's a resolution. I want to make that correction on my statement. Any discussion on the amendment? All in favor of the amendment? Motion carries on the amendment. We still have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the resolution. Any discussion? Mayor Shelton.
President Brown, I meant what I said in the mayor's report. This is something that, once again, is going to allow the city of Tupelo to be a trendsetter in the state of Mississippi and an example for other cities to follow. This is something, it's just the world we live in, and the Ethics Commission has ruled that the text messages and different forms of electronic communication fall within the purview of the Open Records Act, and this is just an example of the city of Tupelo being proactive in compliance and moving forward on new issues, and would request the council to adopt this resolution.
Further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. 7.12, the approved letter of agreement for professional service LLC to represent city on political and business objectives.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bryan, second by Mr. Palmer. Mayor Shelton.
Thank you, President Brian. This is to continue with the tornado recovery efforts of the council members. I went to a special session in Jackson back in May, and this is to make sure that the interests of the city of Tupelo are protected and advocated for during the regular session in January. The cost to the city, including the school district, is going to be in excess of $10 million. So, even if we're talking about 12.5%, you're talking about a substantial sum of money, and something that we've got to make sure that we're being advocated for.
Other discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. 7.22, review, accept minutes of Historic Preservation Commission meetings of September 11th, 2014.
I move that we accept the minutes of the Historical Preservation Commission.
Motion by Ms. Davis, second by Mr. Beard, to accept these minutes. All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. 7.23, review, approve appointment to Historic Preservation Commission.
Make the motion to approve the appointment.
Motion by Mr. Wheaton, second by Mr. Palmer. Mayor Shelton.
I believe that Ms. Katie Wright is here. Ms. Wright, if you could please stand. This is proud to make this nomination for the Historic Preservation Commission. This is similar to the council member recommended someone for nomination. Ms. Wright is being recommended for nomination by previous vote of the Historic Preservation Commission. And I would just respectfully request the council confirm her nomination at this time. Her bio and everything is in the packet there that you have.
Further discussion? Just want to say thank you for your willingness to serve, and all in favor? Motion carries unanimous. Welcome aboard. 7.24, review and accept minutes of planning committee meeting of October 6, 2014.
I move to accept these minutes.
Motion by Mr. Palmer, second by Mr. Bryan, to accept the planning committee meeting minutes. All in favor? Motion carries unanimous. We move to 7.25, review ratify contract between city and Snyder Electric contract energy audit.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bryan, second by Mr. Palmer. Any discussion? Mayor Shelley, briefly.
Just Representative Ms. Emily Keith is here from Snyder. Part of Park and Recreation are here. This is a, to hopefully save the city of Tupelo a substantial amount of money in the future. This is, I don't want to say the first step, because we've been through many presentations on this for about the whole time I've been in office. I think it started before I've been in office, but hopefully to save us money through the way of best practices and more efficient operations as far as our energy usage.
Thank you. Further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimous. That leads us into study agenda with no items. Item 9, executive session, no need. Item 10, adjournment. Do I have a motion?
Okay, we would be adjourned.
Motion by Ms. Davis, second by Mr. Beard, to adjourn. All in favor? Unanimous. Have a good night.
Yeah,